Let's go back 10 years. You came here as a young, hungry kid, and the first song you released went straight to #1.
It was definitely not quite that simple.
I mean, at first you used something that was kind of stolen. How did you come clean?
There was no hiding the fact that there was a Jackson 5 sample in it. On the one hand, I'm celebrating and excited that I'm having success, and on the other hand, I'm like panicking, and I'm like, how do I do this again?
Within the span of 10 years, you've had 12 big hits.
It's been hard work. Yeah.
Okay, welcome to another episode of Songs You Know, and this time with an incredible, amazing DJ who I've met for the first time in, of all places, Thailand in a writing camp. Sigala.
Hello.
Woo!
Hi.
I'm so happy you welcome us to your beautiful studio and safe space.
Thank you, my pleasure. Thanks for coming.
Love this. And
it's not quite Thailand, but it'll do.
If anyone doesn't know Sigala, well, Sigala has had 5 billion streams, 7 global platinum singles, and 12 top 10 airplay hits. And the songs, one of them, I think that was your first #1 hit, is like Easy Love.
Yeah. It was my first ever single, was also
ABC,
my only #1.
Yeah.
It's just a steady decline from there, really.
Okay. We're going to dig into the songs in a minute, but first I want to just rattle down the list of all your accomplishments. Sweet, Sweet Lovin'.
Yeah.
Such a banger. And then Lasting Lover with no other than James Arthur, one of my most favorite singers of all times.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah. I Came Here for Love, Eyre, with Eyre. All By Myself with Ellie Goulding and Alok, right?
That's right,
Yes. Just Got Paid with Eyre as well.
Yeah.
Such
Meghan Trainor and French Montana.
And then Melody.
Yeah.
Wish You Well, Becky Hill.
Yeah.
And probably 100 more.
Yeah.
But those are the ones that I remember.
Yeah.
Let's go back 10 years. 10 years you came here as a young, hungry kid, can I say?
Yeah.
And the first song you released went straight to #1.
Yeah.
So let's start right there.
Yeah. So it definitely wasn't quite that simple. But I moved to London when I was in my early 20s. I'd had music lessons and I'd always been into music. I'd been in bands and things like that. I went to music college in Norwich, where I'm from. And then sort of fell into having a job, basically, because, I had to pay the bills. I was working in like a second-hand store in the music section. I was like, as long as I'm doing something music related, like I'm keeping the dream alive. But I did that for like 2 or 3 years. And there was another guy, my best mate, who was working in Nando's at the time. And every Tuesday was both of our days off. We aligned our days off, and we'd get together, we'd make music. That was the one day that we felt like we were actually doing what we wanted to do. And we both decided that we needed to change something in our lives, because we were like, we're gonna basically just be working here forever unless we do something drastic. So we decided to come to London. We'd heard about this music course at Westminster Uni. It was called Commercial Music, and we both applied. We both got in, and we both moved to London, not really knowing anyone. We started this music course. It was a 3-year course, and then we left, and we actually ended up falling out, and we don't speak to each other anymore. We had a duo. And he kicked me out of the duo.
Oh no!
And I was like, oh, what am I gonna do now? I was like, I'll start my own thing. And I had like a few paid gigs going on, like bit of money here and there from doing production bits, and that kind of dried up. And I was at a point where I was basically like, I have to make a decision. I'm either going to have to move back in with my parents, as a 20-something-year-old, or try and get some sort of financial support. So I went on the dole, or like job seekers, which is government money to help unemployed people. So I was on the dole for like 2 years, and then I met who's now my manager, Charlie at Tile Yard, and through somebody else I met him, and he introduced me to this place where we are right now, where there's I think 100 or so studios.
It's an incredible place.
It's amazing.
Yeah. What a community.
Amazing community. It was a bit smaller when I first started here, but there was like very much a community, and even like day one of getting here, I was like meeting other producers and swapping samples and you know, meeting songwriters and going, you know, let's
Finally you
get
found
in.
it, yeah.
Yeah, I found a community that I could thrive in. So I was writing here for 2 or 3 years, having glimpses of success, but still not really making any money. And I was sort of a bit lost, really. I was making, like, I wanted to make dance music. That's the thing that I've always loved doing. I wasn't doing that. I was sort of doing ghost production for people, and just making music that I didn't want to make. And I was like, I don't know. It's almost worse trying to do something you love in the complete opposite way than just not doing it at all. I think. I think I was at the point where I was like, I'd rather just not do it than I feel like I'm ruining music, and I'll just have it as a hobby, and really like have it as something that I can enjoy, and then do something else for a living. Do you know what I mean? So that was another turning point where I had to make a big decision, and I kind of accepted that it wasn't going to happen. I met up with one of the guys from my management team, and sort of explained the situation. I was like, I'm kind of miserable. I'm not really making the music I want to make, and you know, I think it's probably just time for me to go back to Norfolk and continue where I left off. Gave it a go, and he was really encouraging, and he said, look, like for the last couple of weeks you're here, why don't you just, you know, forget the stuff that you're doing and just make some music that you love. And at least your last couple of weeks are going to be spent you know, making music that you're really into. And that's what I did, and that weekend I made Easy Love, which was my number one.
So how did that come about?
Single.
It has a Michael Jackson sample in there.
Yeah, so it has
ABC.
Yeah. It was really random. I was somebody I met here, an engineer, and he had a massive hard drive full of multi-tracks. No idea where he got them from or how, you know,
maybe he didn't get paid.
Yeah.
Okay, I think
probably.
the hard drive.
Walked out with the whole computer. So maybe a bit sketchy, but I was like, oh my God. And he had Prince, the Police, like Jackson 5, all this stuff, and he was going through the folders and like going, oh, let's listen to the BVs on Thriller and stuff like that, and I was like, this is incredible. Like, I'd never seen anything like it, and I was like, can I get some of these? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I gave him my USB, and he was like, yeah, take some Jackson 5, take some Marvin Gaye, and blah blah blah.
Incredible.
And it was that weekend that I was like, oh, like maybe I'll just, you know, get one of these acapellas up and just have a play around with it and sort of do a remix. And so I got ABC from Jackson 5.
Wow.
I just had it in like the Finder player and was just listening along to it, and then just sort of playing the chords, and literally it was the first thing I played was the chords that are in the song.
Love that piano.
I
mean, a lot of your songs have just incredible piano riffs with them.
Yeah, I think
kind of your signature.
Piano is just something I've always gravitated towards. It's, you know, it's also kind of a bit of a cheat, because piano fills up such a wide space in a song, doesn't it? Like I think a lot of my songs, if you took the piano out, there really wouldn't be much left. Be some hi-hats and a vocal. That's basically it. I was playing along to the ABC sample, and it all came together so quickly. I think I started at about midnight and had a couple of beers, and within 3 or 4 hours, like, I'd made pretty much the whole thing. This is in my bedroom of my old flat. It wasn't in a studio or anything fancy. And
then you were dancing away once you were mixing. And
honestly, like, this is maybe embarrassing to say, but I was actually in tears, like, when I finished that song, because it was so, like, it was like something I just needed to get off my chest.
Nice.
And I was like, it's just happy.
Yeah.
It's like, it's joyous. I was like, this is the music that I wanted to make.
You found
and it felt
finally.
really special. And I was like, I remember thinking, I don't care if anyone hears this. Like, it means something to me. I've enjoyed making it, and if is what it is, then I'm fine with that, and I'll go back and live with my parents.
So, and that was just you and the sample, or did you then have someone sing on it, or how did it continue?
So we had to get the sample remade, which was ended up being sung by Vula, who
I mean, at first you used something that was kind of stolen, and then how did you come clean?
Yeah, so
legalize.
I mean, there was no hiding the fact that there was a Jackson 5 sample.
Everybody knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had somebody re-sing it, Vula, and she did an amazing job. And I think she sang it lower, and then it was pitched up to try and make it sound like
Jacksonated.
10-year-old Michael Jackson, or however old he was, to Jacksify it. And yeah, that was pretty much it, really. Like, it was fairly straightforward, although I was very particular with the vocal. Like, I wanted it to sound as close to the original, because I didn't want to I didn't want people to notice, because at that time, I don't know, I think it's changed now, but at that time you could use the sample for promotional reasons. So basically the radio were playing the version with the original Michael Jackson singing on it.
Really?
This was like 10 years ago. And then when I had to do the replay, I really struggled, because I was like, oh my God, like, it's not going to be as good. And I actually still, when I play it live in my sets, I play with the original Michael Jackson vocal. But I don't think anyone else really notices. Yeah.
Did you already then start DJing and performing your songs, or when did that start?
That basically started after I made that song. So I made the song. It happened so quickly. I made the song. I sent it to my manager. He sent it to Ministry of Sound. I told him not to send it to anyone. Yeah. I was like, do not send this. It's a demo.
That's virality.
I'm sure we've all
play it to someone else and show it to their friends. Show it to their cool friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, don't play it. I need to finish it or whatever. Because I sent it to him at like 4 a.m. when I'd finished it. I was just like, send it on email.
And they got excited.
And yeah, obviously he got too excited. He said, and the next day or the following day, he messaged me saying, I'm sorry, but I sent this to someone, and do you want a record deal, basically? Like, you need to come in and meet. And I was like, nah, you're right, I'll go back to Norfolk and drive a tractor.
Second-hand store.
Yeah. So yeah, it happened very quickly from then, and like, I was in complete disbelief. I was like, this is too good to be true. Nothing's gonna happen. And yeah, that I got offered the record deal from Ministry of Sound, and yeah, they put the song out, and it just flew. Like, it was so rapid how quickly it took off.
Incredible.
And I remember, sat there, it was on YouTube before anything else, and refreshing, and the numbers going up, and just like the dream, literally that all musicians' dream happening was happening to me, and I was like, this can't be real. Yeah. Like, it was wild.
Did you celebrate? How did you feel?
Yeah, I celebrated. I mean, we celebrated with the team and all the crew here at Talyard, because it was a big success for everyone. Nice. And it felt like a team effort, because we were all struggling together. Like, people were, probably shouldn't say this, but we were all sleeping in the studio at one point, and there's people that were basically living and like squatting in the studio. We'd get up, there was a shower, we'd have a shower, we'd do our session, and like, because it was too expensive for people to come in and out of London and pay for the train and whatever. So it really felt like a big win for the whole community. Yeah, it was amazing.
And then from there, what happened next? Now you were on the map. Now
the gig offers start coming in, bookings. I'm like, oh, okay, this is getting real now. Like, I'm gonna have to go and perform. Having never DJ'd up till that point, I'd played in bands. I'd been on stage. I'd had that experience, and So yeah, I was like, okay, I have to be a DJ now.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't thought this through. Like, one of my mates came.
Damn, it gotta be a DJ.
I
now,
know,
fun.
yeah. Like, I feel bad saying that because I know that's like a dream for a lot of people, but it wasn't necessarily my dream at that time.
What
like,
was your dream at the time?
just to make music and in my bedroom and make money from it. Like that was the dream. Was
Check.
like,
You just did that.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll retire now. I
Yeah.
can go back. But yeah, that wasn't necessarily the dream that I had in my head. And still, like, my main passion is what happens in the studio, like the creative, the writing part and the production, and the fine tuning and all the nerdy stuff. Like, that's the stuff that I still love, and the reason I still do it. And the DJing is a way of sharing the music to me, like, and I love it, and it's amazing to be able to go and do it. But that's like a byproduct of making the music.
How much time do you dedicate to DJing, and how much time do you dedicate to creating music?
It's probably about 50-50, maybe 60-40, leaning towards being in the studio more. But yeah, it's a big part of what I do.
But it's nice being celebrated with so many people singing your songs.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, and it like was never a part of my plan. So it's like a nice.
Yeah, and I saw some of the videos. Like, these are massive stages you're on. You have, like, I don't know, tens of thousands of people singing your song and dancing along. That's incredible.
And also great to be able to, like, come and play feel good music for people and see their smiles.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, your music is so positive. It's just all, let's have a good time together, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the mission from day one, really. After I made Easy Love, I was like, okay, like, don't change anything. Like, what did I do? Like,
so walk us from there to the next song.
So the next song was Sweet Lovin', and that happened pretty soon after.
Sweet Lovin', sweet
with incredible Bryn.
Bryn Christopher, who was also in Thailand at the riding camp. Love the guy.
Yeah, he's amazing.
What a voice.
So we were working together before we did Sweet Lovin'. Like, we'd been working together for a little bit, just writing and pitching, and I just came to our session and was like, so I had a number one, like, I need another song, like, how are we gonna do this?
Now it was a job.
And I was like, it's got real. But
the world is watching. Labour's waiting.
It was a lot of pressure. I think I signed.
Make us more money.
Initially, I think it was like a 2-single deal that I signed. So I was like, obviously knew that I had another one that I needed to make.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't a 5-album deal that would last for the rest of your life. Rest of your life.
So yeah, we just, we get in this session. He's playing me some ideas, and there's a voice note he's recorded that's like the sort of outline to the top line, and then we sort of changed some of the melodies, and it happened really quickly. There was definitely, like, pressure on me to deliver another. Like, Easy Love was, I think it was like still doing really well at the time, so there was, like, definite pressure of, like, on the one hand I'm like celebrating and excited that I'm having success, and on the other hand I'm like panicking, and I'm like, how do I do this again? But I've spent years and years and years making music. I was like, I have the tools, I've done my homework, I know how to do this, I've done it once, let's do it again. So yeah, we made Sweet Lovin', and I was like, let's just keep channeling the positive, feel good energy, and that's, I don't know, it's just something that really comes naturally to me. And also, like, going back to talking about the music being therapeutic, like, I feel like it was something that I needed at the time, because, like, I was having a pretty tough time, and I was like, I just need to make feel good music and make myself feel good.
That's amazing.
And then I realized, as a byproduct of that, I was making music that are making other people feel good as well.
Yes,
and
you
I
probably
suddenly
got thousands of fan letters, like,
oh my
you
God,
saved my
it's
day.
Incredible. Like, the letters and the DMs and stuff from people who've been through horrible things and said, like, my music's helped them. Like, that was, a big sign that I just carry on doing what I'm doing.
Do you remember the first time you heard your song on the radio? Because that's such a monumental when it comes full circle and
Yeah.
you see, oh my God, I made this in my bedroom and now it's playing
I know,
on the ether
yeah.
everywhere.
I remember there's one memory that really sticks out was I listened to the chart show rundown of when it went number one, and I was, because of the success of the song, I'd got a session with Craig David, and he was like a hero of mine.
Yes.
And so I was in the studio with Craig David. My track was potentially, going to be top 10 in the charts. Like the most surreal moment of my life, probably still. And yeah, we listened to the charts together, and it went number one, and like that was probably that feeling of like,
suddenly you get to work with your idols. You get calls from people that were out of reach
and he was quick. Like the song hadn't even got to number one. I was nobody at this point, and Craig was like,
I love that.
Moved back to London.
That was my Rodney Jerkins moment after Big Girls Don't Cry went big. Suddenly you get a call from your idol, from your, oh my God.
Yeah, it's surreal.
Yeah. Okay, from Sweet Lovin', what happened next?
From Sweet Lovin', so Sweet Lovin' did really well as well. I think it was a number 3 here in the UK. And I was just like, okay, I've got this. Like that was the, confidence boost that I needed.
So you negotiated a new deal after?
So yeah. I went into an album deal with Ministry.
And you get along well with the label?
They've been amazing.
I mean, that's really great too, if you initially find a team that sticks with you, believes in you,
lucky.
and that you like them. That's not always a given. More often than not, it's not the right...
Yeah, oh my God, I've heard I'm sure you have as well, so many horror stories of people. I had a good friend who signed a record deal, and literally within the first 6 months his A&R is like, bye, I'm going to work for this label. And he's just left there, and he eventually got dropped, and he's like, okay, well,
but you found your tribe, so that's amazing.
I was honestly so lucky to have the team I did at Ministry, and we worked great together. Depeche has been my A&R from day one, and he's really encouraging. He's always encouraged me to try new things as well, and not necessarily be too safe, which is what I've really enjoyed. And from Sweet Lovin', like that was kind of like a little mission of mine. It was like, how do I make each song unique and inspired by something different, so I'm not trying to make the same thing over and over again,
and yet preserve what was going to be your signature sound,
which is really difficult, and involved making over 100 versions of most of those songs. In multiple genres, multiple tempos, so many variations, to try and find like the unique bit of source and like the right balance as well. So like you say, like it still sounds like something that I've made, but it's like an evolution of that. Or it's like, how do we one of the songs I did after Sweet Lovin' was Give Me Your Love, which I worked with Nile Rodgers on, and I was like, it was written by myself and
that's like
and
a
John
bucket
Newman.
list item to work with Nile Rodgers.
Exactly, and me and
how did that come about?
Me and John Newman were writing the song, and he starts playing these funky guitars, and I turned to him and I'm like, bro, like you literally sound like Nile Rodgers. And he was like, oh my God, he'd been working with Nile previously, and he's like, we should definitely send this to him. I had zero expectations. He sent the song, and Nile loved it, and we got in and we worked on it with him.
Amazing.
And that was another one where I was like, okay, it's like sounds like me, but there's like a disco element, funky sort of element in there as well. And then I did a drum and bass tune, which was still like, it had like steel drums and stuff, which I was using a lot of. And I'm still like, trying to find new things to explore, and like. So
that was your third single.
I think it was the drum and bass one, Say You Do, with Imani. That was a Mariah Carey sample. That was single number 3, I think, and then Give Me Your Love with John and Nile was number 4. Gosh, I'm really going back now. I can't remember the next
within
one.
the span of 10 years, you've had 12 big hits.
Lots.
That's
It's
pretty
been
much
hard
every
work.
year a hit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been really good.
And it probably took you how many songs to get to those 12? Maybe
So
a
many.
few hundred or thousands?
Yeah, so many.
Yeah.
Like in the studio every day.
That's
writing.
always the thing. It sounds so simple, but there's so much work behind it that never sees the light of day.
Yeah.
So many hopes and dreams that get shattered.
Yeah. I think the multiple versions thing is like something that has really been a big part of my process. I'm sure most people do this when they're creating, you know, they try different things.
Yeah.
But I think I've really taken it to the extreme. Like one of the songs I was on a version 167 or something of it.
Like you're going in the forest looking for a mushroom or truffle and you don't leave one stone unturned.
Literally,
every tree, every bush,
It's
every
obsessive.
corner.
Yeah.
Until you find that truffle.
Yeah, literally obsessing over, like, it's definitely a part of my personality where I feel like I want to try every single possible outcome so that I know that I've done everything in my abilities to make it the best that it can be, rather than just being like, okay, this sounds decent.
Yeah.
You know, let's go with that. Like,
it's also that you have been couch surfing and have had very poor times, so I think that makes you really appreciate what you have now so much more and give you your very best every day to
I
make
was
this
like,
last.
I want to hold on to this.
Yes,
like
this
I'm
is
not
good.
having this success and then letting it
Yeah.
die. I'm doing everything in my power to keep this going.
Yeah.
And just like there's a definite fear of like losing all that success and just, you know, going back to working in the shop.
That gets you grounded,
which keeps me grounded, and it kept me going as well. And
are you also,
driven.
as far as nutrition goes and alcohol and all these things, are you very aware of that you need to treat yourself well?
I am now. Yeah, I definitely wasn't when I started.
Mm-hmm.
Started out like
it's all got consequences, right? Like you
100%.
drink a little too much, and the next morning you're just not 100% anymore.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate it. I'm excited to announce that we are launching a Patreon. This will be a place where you can find out about our upcoming guests, where you can get exclusive access to BTS footage, like for instance a walk through Greg Wells' studio. You can even submit your own questions that we're going to ask in the podcast. That's going to be so much fun. By joining this community, you can help tell the stories behind some of the biggest songs in music history. Thank you for your support. It really does mean everything, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. Hope to see you there. So Sigala, how did this name come about?
So it's actually an old family name. It's my great-great-grandfather's surname. My mum was basically just looking into like family tree stuff and our ancestry, and she just found this really interesting story of this Italian dude called Amos Sigala.
Mm-hmm. That sounds so mysterious, like
I know,
Lord of the Rings or something. Here comes Amos Sigala.
Mystical character from 100 or so years ago.
Yeah.
And I actually called her up, and this was when I was starting my arts project, and I was like, I don't know what to do, Mum. Like, I need a name for my project.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay. I had some really, really bad names.
What other names did you have?
One that I remember, I don't know why, but it's like Dr. Crunch. And
Dr. Luke and Dr. Crunch.
My mum was like, sounds like a breakfast cereal. And I was like, yeah, no, that's terrible. Like, I can't use
Dr.
that.
Crunch, endorsed by Crunch. Cereal.
It was so bad. So anyway, like we finished the conversation, and then she calls me back later that day, and she was like, oh, I just remembered, been doing some research, and we found this guy called Amos Sigala, who's like this mysterious like family member, and he separated from his wife, and she came back to England, and I think he went from Italy to New York or something, and they were like trying to trace his whereabouts and if he had kids and things like that. And she was like, oh, his name was Amos Sigala, and I was like, oh, Sigala, that's so cool. And that was it. The next day I was like making the logo up and stuff, and I didn't realize that I'd spelt it wrong, like, because I only heard it over the phone. That it was supposed to be Segala, and I'd spelt it Sigala or whatever.
And now you had created an original.
And I was like, yeah, well, that's even better. Yeah,
that's great.
But yeah, so that's the story of the.
What are some bucket list items?
Bucket list. I've been really ticking them off, man. Like, going to Thailand to make music was one of them, which is where
Yeah,
we
thanks for
met.
inviting me. That was such a cool time.
It's just the coolest.
Great
the coolest
talent.
place.
Everyone in the camp was amazing.
Yeah. And just like a cool environment, very free. There's a lot of camps because I came from a songwriter background before being an artist. Like I did loads of camps, and the thing I didn't like about camps was like there's such specific brief for a lot of them, and it's like, this is what you need to make today, and here's 3 songs, and you need to take this from this and this, and like I feel like that's maybe some people work well in that environment, but I feel like that's kind of like not very creative. So like the camps we do in Thailand is very much just like go with what you're feeling, like you know, experiment, and we really try and encourage people to just go with their gut and
I like how everybody got to work with everybody in the camp, and everyone, there were great talents in there. It was a great pool of talents. And then you had the ice bucket challenge.
Which I actually was still asleep, so I missed out that. The ice bath,
ice bath.
Yeah, ice bath, which I still haven't done.
And the massage for everyone.
But that's been a huge bucket list thing for ages, and there's a crazy story behind that, because it was like before I'd had any success, I actually was heading up here on the train, and I met this guy on the tube, and I don't know how, I think I was like carrying a keyboard or something, and he was like, oh, I don't know, started talking about music, and he was like, oh, I work for a music label and blah blah blah, and he was like, I also run this studio in Thailand. And I was like, oh, amazing. And he pulls out this like postcard basically of the studio, and it just looks like this paradise. And I'm like sort of trying to give the impression that I can afford to go there. And I'm like, oh, amazing. Like, I'll have to look into it. I'll have to come. Do you know what I mean? Like knowing full well that I could never afford it. Anyway, I kept this postcard and, you know, stuck it up on my wall, and fast forward 5 or 6 years, I'm talking to Charlie, my manager, and we're like, we should do a camp, and he was like, I know this place in Thailand, and one thing led to another, and before I knew it, we were going to this place, and I didn't even realize that it was the place that I had stuck up on my wall.
Wow.
And
serendipitous.
It was amazing, and I was like, that's such a cool moment. Playing Wembley Stadium was another one. I remember my parents had a old VHS like video of Queen playing Wembley that they used to watch when I was a kid, and like that was a full circle moment as well, being able to do that. And
what were some like maybe embarrassing moments in your career?
Embarrassing,
we've all had them. I
think going back to, maybe this is why I don't want to do the piano thing you were talking about earlier in front of a live audience. So I tried it. It was Radio 1's Big Weekend, which is like very well-known festival, really important. It was a really important time in my career, and you know, I was super excited to be going there, and I had Bryn Christopher coming on to perform, Becky Hill, and others, and I'd in the lead up, I was like, I want to do something special for this one. I was like, I want this to be the first show that I play the piano live. And so we had rehearsals. Obviously, like I'm, you know, I've played piano my whole life. It wasn't really something that I was worried about. And I'd been playing in my sort of headline shows as well. But this was like way more of a moment, because in my headline shows I was sort of playing along to, you know, big productions and stuff. But this was like, me and Bryn talked about doing an acoustic version of Sweet Lovin'. Just me on piano and him singing, and then it sort of transitions into the like the radio edit. And so we did all this rehearsal, and I get there, there's this beautiful piano, I come out, I'm on stage, I come out, I walk down to the piano, I start playing, and the sustain pedal is plugged in the wrong way. And I'm like, oh no. And every different chord I play is blending into the next one, and it's a car crash. Bryn is singing his heart out. I don't even think he noticed. He was so focused on what he was doing. And absolutely killed it. And also, like, I had family and people in the crowd, and they didn't even really know that anything had gone wrong. But like, in my head, I was like, the world is ending.
Could you quickly untrain yourself to hold the pedal down while you were playing and lift it up when you were
it's
supposed
like
to push it down?
I thought about it. I was like, I'm just gonna make it worse. So like, I mean, you get so used to using a sustain pedal, and it's like, how do you suddenly try and do the opposite? It's like using the mouse left-handed. And I was just like, I was just gonna play a chord and let it ring out, and then play another chord.
Did the audience know?
I don't think so. I had some friends in the audience, and I came off stage, and I was really upset, and I was like, oh my god, like I can't believe that's happened. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, that was incredible. Like everyone's having a great time. Like no one cares.
We remember usually those little glitches when things go wrong, but I think the audience remembers like everything that went right.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and I also tend to focus on this one thing that went wrong.
Yeah.
And you can't enjoy the rest of it.
I was like, right, I'm never playing piano live. That's it. But maybe I'll face my fears again one day.
Reminds me of that Avicii movie. Have you seen the Avicii movie?
The new one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the new one, no.
He said when he had a phase where he then wanted to go all live.
Yeah.
With Wake Me Up and all those, and he performed like a band on a massive ultra festival and got booed.
Yeah, I remember somebody told me
crazy
about that. Yeah, that's wild, isn't it?
Did you know Avicii?
No, I never met him. No.
Tragic story.
It's tragic, yeah, absolutely. And it was all kind of happening when I started to have success, and it was definitely a big lesson. Hearing about what was going on, and it definitely affected the way that I approached my career. And like I heard that he's just a very sort of shy guy, similar to myself. Like he just wanted to make music, and he wasn't necessarily that interested in doing all the shows and stuff like that. Like he was just a kid who loved writing music and being in the studio, which is something that I really related to. And I was like, oh my god, like I need to be careful about how I do this. And it made me set some very clear rules right at the start of my career, where I was like, I don't want to be famous. Like that was basically the crux of it. It was like, I don't want to be a pop star. Like I want to make my music. If I go and perform, that's amazing, but I don't want to be in the videos. I don't really want to be on TV. I don't want to do podcasts. No.
Here we are.
Here we are, yeah.
But it is important to listen to your body, and if your body needs a break, you got to give your body a break and recharge, even if it's half a year off or something, and then just find the love for music again. And I think he was just burning on both ends and burning the candle on both ends. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely lessons learned from that.
So this podcast is also for a lot of people who want to be like you, want to be a famous DJ and have hit records. What are some tips you can give?
Some tips. I think probably going back to the sort of story I told at the beginning. I definitely learned some big lessons at the start of my career, and I think one of the tips that it's important to share is what I learned about making the music that I wanted to make, basically, which sounds kind of obvious, but there's always going to be outside opinions, and even just scrolling on social media and seeing what other people are doing, you're like, oh, that's what I need to do to be successful. And it's not really the case. If you do the thing that you're really passionate about, that comes naturally to you, like that's the thing you're going to do to the best of your ability. So I think if you're someone that's starting out and not sure, oh, I feel like I should be making this genre because that's the cool genre now, or whatever. Just make what you're passionate about, what comes naturally, and what makes you happy, really. And that's the thing you're going to do the best.
Do what makes you happy. Yeah.
That's probably the most important lesson. And then also, you have to just work hard. I was never the best. I was never the most talented. I was always the underdog. At school, I was, I played the piano, but there were better musicians than me. At university, there were better producers than me. And, even now, like, I'm still slow. Like, I'm a slow producer. I take my time. I work hard. it takes me a while to get things right, but I don't give up.
You do like 100 versions of a song.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm still learning. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm still trying to work out how to do it, and I don't know. Maybe that's just my process, or maybe I'm just really inefficient. But I think there's an important lesson. It's like, if it doesn't come straight away, like, that's fine. You can keep working on something, and sometimes it does take time. And don't get disheartened if things don't happen quickly.
How do you deal with criticism?
Just ignore it. No. With criticism, I don't know, like, everyone has their own opinion, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's even things that I've made that I don't like, that my label really like, and that's a weird dynamic, because they're like, oh, this is sick, and I'm like, nah. It's like, but you made it. And I'm like, yeah, but I still don't like it. But yeah, it's definitely, I think it's about finding the people around you that you trust their opinion, and obviously it's a taste thing as well, so people you trust their taste.
That's a big one, finding your tribe.
Yeah, exactly, because there's people that will just say they love everything, which is nice, and it's good to have that positive encouragement, but at the same time, you need honest
surround yourself with people who you can be honest to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
where you don't have to pretend to be something different than you are. So we have this segment where I play you a melody and you have to guess the song.
Okay.
And the audience can guess it too. Maybe you know it better than Sigala. Oh my God. All right, I'm going to play a note on the piano.
Okay, yeah.
It's
Anyone?
A name. Starts with a name.
A name?
Yeah, and it's by someone who was part of your very first #1 hit.
Oh, it's Billie Jean. Yeah. If you played the drum beat, I would have got it probably. Yeah.
Okay, let's look for another one.
No.
No.
I don't know. I'm gonna feel so stupid, aren't I? What is it?
It starts with the word we.
We.
You have to sing it like
we.
Yeah. What are we?
Oh, the champions.
Yes.
Let's
we
go.
are the champions. What a song.
Incredible song.
That song moved me so much when I first heard it, and I was maybe 12, 13, and I saw that on television. Yeah. All the lights, it was almost demonic how they performed. It was so incredible.
Yeah, I used to love Queen.
Yeah, we had a time when we made fake VIP passes and just ran into the VIP entrance at all these concerts.
Really?
And I got to see Freddie Mercury live.
No way!
Yes.
That's so cool.
That was so incredible.
I wish I'd been able to see them live. But yeah, my parents always, like, they loved Queen, so they always had Queen concerts playing.
Yeah.
So I grew up trying to work out those crazy Freddie Mercury chords and stuff, and just that was like probably the best lesson in learning the piano.
Yeah, what you can get out of a piano.
Trying to work it and doing it by ear, and like, no, that's not right. And
dun, 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 dun,
just incredible.
So
good, so dramatic. Brian's like solo is always just so tasteful. The way he like takes little bits of the vocal melody and puts it on the guitar and then embellishes it.
Yeah, I was singing with the guitar.
Yeah, just
they were probably competing, like.
yeah, I could do it one note higher. Yeah.
Brian and Freddie.
Yeah.
I give you one more. Okay. I give you one. It's very funky.
Is that the rhythm as well? It's really hard.
It's got a funky bass line.
Oh.
Bass line is something like.
Oh, is it Superstition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the greats, Stevie Wonder.
So good.
Still so relevant.
I tried to do, that was one of the acapellas that I got from that dude. Wow. So I tried to do a remix of that one, but I felt like I was ruining it.
Well, thank you so much for being on this podcast. Really appreciate it. Great conversation.
Honestly, such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Oh, thank you. So if you enjoyed this, please like or subscribe. And if you listen to it on an audio streaming platform, please give us a review. 5-star review would be greatly appreciated. And there will be more next Tuesday. Thank you so much.
Bye. See you later.